Three, two, one. Let's go. All right, so Taj, ESPN dropped their top 100 NBA players, and in the top 10, number one, we got LeBron. Then it goes to Anthony Davis, Giannis at number three, Luca at four, Kawhi at five, Kevin Durant at six, Damian Lillard at seven, Steph at eight, James Harden at nine, and Jokic at 10. So, what's your first reactions to this list, this top 10 list?
My first reaction is probably everyone's first reaction. Kevin Durant at six. I mean, we're saying I know he's coming off an Achilles, but ESPN is saying this is their predicted best players for the 2020-21 season. And I don't think Kevin Durant is going to be the sixth best player this season. I think Kevin Durant is going to come back to MVP form. I think he'll be one of the top three players in the NBA, like he's been the past decade really. So I think he's going to be a top three player again. Then you got Kawhi at five. Come on, you got Luca and Giannis ahead of Kawhi. That's just unrealistic. I know Giannis is two-time winning MVP. Yes, Luca, he had his magical season with the Magic. Yes, he had a magical seventh-place finish with the Magic. But come on, Kawhi Leonard. Yes, the Clippers choke, but the guy is still a top four player in the NBA at this point. I wouldn't put Luca ahead of him. And then you got Damian Lillard one spot ahead of Steph Curry. I love Damian Lillard. Love Damian Lillard. But Steph Curry is the best point guard of this generation. He's probably the best point guard, definitely the best point guard of the 2010s. The guy's a two-time MVP, three-time champion. Could easily be a four-time champion if those boys didn't get injured. Come on, I don't think Damian Lillard is on Stephen Curry level. And I love Damian Lillard. Everything that Damian Lillard could do, Stephen Curry can do times two. And neither of them play defense. But other than that, the top 10, the players in the top 10 seems about right. I just think it needs some shifting. Anthony Davis at number two, yeah, that's debatable. If it was me, I would probably pick KD at number two, Kawhi at three. I'd probably have 84. But I could see them having 80 at two, seeing that the guy just won a championship. That's understandable. Jokic at 10. I kind of like Jokic right there. I'd probably put Luca around 10, maybe slot Jokic up to 9, put Luca at 10. No, James Harden. I think James Harden is about right in that situation. But obviously the egregious ones, Luca at 4, doesn't make any sense. KD at 6, and then Damian Lillard a spot ahead of Steph Curry. That's just I just don't see those things being true this season.
Okay, yeah. Let's just first of all, this list. Why? Okay, let's just take a look at this list, right? Why isn't Giannis number one, right? Yeah, everyone says he's the MVP. Everyone talk, oh, he's the best player in the league, this and that. So why ain't number one on this list, right? That's the only question I have. Guys, two-time MVP. So now everyone's starting to realize that LeBron should have won his fifth MVP, and this is just this like I don't know why if you vote the guy MVP, what he got 85 first place votes. Why? Obviously, they thought by far he was way better than LeBron. So why isn't he number one on this list? Okay, and let's just get that out of the way. And I feel like KD and Steph they just kind of stand out as well, we haven't really seen these guys play in a year, so it's well, we don't really know what they are. And I understand you're projecting, they're gonna come back, and is what you think is gonna how they're gonna play this season. But I just feel like they kind of stand as we haven't seen you in Katie. You haven't seen Katie in 2 years, so it feels kind of weird to even try and make an argument to put them ahead of people. So those two, this is just kind of weird to me. Luca is way too high on this list. I don't know how he got number four. That's pretty. I think I agree with you. Maybe somewhere 9, 10. I would even drop off Yoke and put on Embiid, because I think Embiid is better than him, because Embiid does it both ways, and Yoke is a better passer or whatever. But Embiid could give you the same amount of points, and he's an All NBA defender, and James Harden is about right. And I feel if I'm being honest, I think 80, maybe put 83 and Giannis two. I mean, I don't. Giannis should be number one based on what just this season he got defensive player of the year, MVP, all that stuff, and he's the best player in the world, this and that. So why isn't he number one? That's just my question.
Yeah, because he's not number one. Because MVP is the MVP, most valuable player of the season, meaning who had the best season, who's most valuable to that team. MVP does not mean it's best player in the world.
No,
LeBron James, he hasn't won an MVP since what was it? 2013. LeBron James has been the best player in the world the past decade. Stephen Curry, yes, he has two MVPs in that time. I never thought Stephen Curry was the best player in the world. He was never better than LeBron James. He's never better than Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Giannis. Those guys were never better than LeBron James or Kevin Durant at any point in their careers, and all those guys have MVPs throughout that time. So let's be realistic. MVP is who had the best season, and who was most valuable to their team's
who had the
success
best
throughout that
season?
season. That does not translate to
Uh,
best player in the world. If it was, LeBron James would probably have 12 MVPs at this point. He's been the best player in the world for about the past 12 years, if we're being realistic. So that's the reason why Giannis is not number one on this list. And I think Giannis is even too high. And I even think Giannis thinks he's too high. I don't think Giannis believes he's better than Kevin Durant. I don't think Giannis believes he's better than Anthony Davis at full strength. I mean, Giannis knows his limitations. If we know his limitations, he knows it. He knows them as well. He knows he cannot shoot. He knows guys are going to build a wall against him. But yes, he's a great defender. But I think Anthony Davis is a great defender as well. Anthony Davis, I think he should be ahead of him. Cameron, I think he should be ahead of Giannis. If you want to say Kawhi, I think Kawhi should be ahead of Giannis. I think Giannis should probably be number 5 on this list. Uh, uh, Even Stephen Curry, but I would probably not put Stephen Curry at Giannis because Giannis plays both ways. Like you say, he's a defensive player of the year. But I think that's we gotta be realistic of the situation. In terms of Embiid being Jokic, I don't think Embiid is better than Jokic. I really don't. Jokic, his efficiency, the way he passes the ball. Yes, Embiid can block shots because he's more athletic than Jokic, obviously. But Jokic impact on the entire game and the way teams up this game against him, his passing and his ability to score the basket and an efficient rate, it's just second to none in that big spot. You really have a guy at 7, what was he, like 7 foot, 280 pounds, basically your point guard that can also score at an efficient clip. So I don't think Embiid is on that level, especially when Embiid can only manage to play about 45 games a season. Like you got to play more games and you got to show up. You got to at least show up in the playoffs if you want to be better than Jokic. I think Jokic is the best big man in the league right now. Like you say, James Harden, I think he's in the right spot. Yes, a lot of people say. I mean, I don't think anyone. We all know the superstar talent as scoring wise that James Harden is, but I don't think anyone can say James Harden is better than Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Kawhi Leonard, Giannis, Stephen Curry. If you want to put him ahead of Damian Lillard, I'll give you that. But in terms of those 6 players I mentioned, James Harden is not better than those players.
Okay, well, just a couple of things. So you basically saying that Giannis doesn't deserve the MVP, which I was arguing with you, and you're saying, oh well, this and that. They gave LeBron the MVP, this and that, and now you're trying to say, oh well, LeBron is the best player. So now you basically
No,
admitted,
no, no.
no,
Best player in
no,
the world is that does not mean MVP.
no.
If that's the case, LeBron James should have 12 MVPs. Michael Jordan should have 13 MVPs at this point. The guy's been the best player in the world his entire career.
Okay,
We
well,
all know what
no, no, no.
MVP
I
is.
don't, I
It's,
don't
it's
want to hear
not.
that. I don't want to hear that.
That doesn't make any that,
No,
but that's the reality of the situation. You can't
the,
have Giannis. Your team is the number one seed. The guy averaged he averaged 30 points. Well, nine
okay,
nine like 10 rebounds and eight
he,
assists or
he
something
should
something
be
like that.
number one on this list. He should be number one on this list. If not, then LeBron James should have that MVP trophy that he got. I think after the Lakers won a championship, he should have that MVP trophy. If not, I don't want to hand none. I don't hand none of that no more.
That
And
that make that makes entirely no sense. We all know what
listen,
MVP is. We all know MVP is not the best player in the world. Other than that, Shaquille O'Neal and the guy should have. Shaq has what, one MVP. The guy should have way more than one MVP. He's been the best player in the world for some time. Kobe Bryant should have more than one MVP. LeBron James should have more than 4 MVPs. Michael Jordan have more. What does he have, like 6 MVPs? He should have more than that. If we're saying the best player in the world should get MVP every year, we know what MVP is. Who who had the better season and who was more valuable to their team's success. And Giannis with the best record in the East, best record in the league, as a matter of fact. You're the defensive player of the year, and you led your team. And you averaged 30 points with 10 rebounds or 9 assists or something like that. The guy deserved the
yeah,
MVP. But we all know, and Giannis admitted
all those
himself, he's not
numbers
the best player
to
in the
the
world.
number one seed. He should be the number one. I don't see all the stats. All the stats is pointing towards him. He had the best stats in the league. All that. He should be number one on this list. I don't understand how you're arguing. He should
So,
be number.
you're telling me, so what you're basically telling me is the years that Russell Westbrook won the MVP, he was the best player in the world. When James Harden won MVP,
Okay, no,
he
but
was the
this
best player in the
okay.
world.
Well,
When
okay. First
Stephen
of all,
Curry won MVP, he was the
no,
best player in the world.
well,
That's basically what you're telling
this
me. When
conversation.
Derrick Rose won MVP, was he the best player in the world?
No,
That's
no,
no. Those
okay,
guys were never the best player in the world.
listen. This conversation is about Giannis and LeBron. The fact is, Giannis
Steve Nash has two
was
MVPs.
last
Never
season.
once was Steve
Listen,
Nash the best player in the world. Let's be realistic about the situation. This is not the best. MVP is not the best player in the world conversation. That
okay, no,
those are two separate things.
no. But you missing my point there. Like you just thought you just list off all those stats. You know, he had the what he averaged like 30, and then he's shooting it at like 50% or something like that. He was on pace for leading for the best PR ever since I think I can't even remember the guy's name. All these stats, and he leading this team 60 wins back-to-back seasons, and you're trying to tell me this dude can't be number one on the list, but y'all want to give him back-to-back MVPs. And I told y'all LeBron James should have won the MVP, and now everyone's trying to say, oh well, maybe Giannis shouldn't have get the MVP, this and that. Okay, I nobody want to hear that unless
No, but what you're trying to do, you're trying to change the MVP conversation. We all know every year MVP has been who had the best season and who was most important to that team success. And this year has been Giannis. Now, if you want to switch the MVP conversation to who's the best player in the world, and you think the best player in the world should get MVP every year, LeBron James should have about 12, 10 MVPs at this point in time. Michael Jordan should have 10 MVPs. Steve Nash would have 0. The guy has 2. Stephen Curry would have 0. The guy has 2. Kevin Durant. That year, I still think LeBron was the best player in the world. James Harden. I still think LeBron was the best player in the world at that point. Russell Westbrook, never the best player in the world. So we got to be realistic about the situation. The MVP is not MVP and best player in the world. Those are two separate conversations.
okay,
Let's not try to connect the two.
well, if we're talking about most valuable players, is even if we're not talking about best player in the world, like most valuable player, it was by far LeBron James this season. That Bucks team, they probably still win 60 games without Giannis inside these. You know, we
The same Bucks team that lost to the Heat in 4 games.
Yes,
in
we
5
did.
games. That same Bucks team. You're telling me?
They're a regular season team. You know what the Bucks are. They'll win a bunch of games even with or without Giannis. And the only game they won.
I do not agree with that. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
Okay, no, I'm glad you.
So you're telling me?
Okay, the game they
Anthony
won.
Davis is second. They have Anthony Davis as the second best player in the world on this list.